Why are more and more women choosing to be single and not in relationships? Let's talk about it. My friend said it best. She said, women are now becoming the men that they wanted to date and couldn't find. And I sat there and listened to that and I went, oh my God, it's true. So, what does she mean by that? And basically, in essence, what she means is we've learned how to take care of everything. Like, we don't need you. It'd be nice to find somebody that you want, but the quality is just not there anymore. I heard another woman say, the most tears that I have ever cried were because of a man. The most depressed I have ever been was because of a man. Think about that for a second. Guys, what are you doing? So it's amazing to watch the ladies on this app or the ladies that I talk to that are not accepting the bare minimum, that are doing things for themselves and are happier and more fulfilled than they have ever been in their entire lives.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are in the world or whatever time you'll be watching this video. Now, guys, I have an interesting topic that I wanted to talk to you about today, right? And I came across some videos on social media and they were talking basically about why is it that there are fewer remarriages among women of late, right? Now, what if everything that we thought we knew about love, marriage, and happily ever after is changing? Now, for the first time in history, women are leading in higher education, and across developed nations, women now make up the majority of university graduates. They complete degrees at higher rates and they are entering high-paying fields once dominated by men. Now, education didn't just open doors, it changed expectations, right? So for generations, divorce was seen as just a detour, a temporary setback before finding love again. But today, something surprising is happening where more women are choosing not to remarry or even get married. And it's not because they can't, but it's because they don't want to. So what has changed? Why are more divorced women walking away from marriage for good? And what does this mean for the future of relationships?
How many women are single after being married and choosing to stay single? Seeing a guy on here asking where all the good women are. Are we at work? Are we at home? Are we scrolling TikTok? Yes, we are. And we're enjoying our peace. And we're enjoying eating whatever we want. Even if it's cookies for dinner. We're at home because we've been there. We don't want to do it again. So how many women on here who have been married are choosing to stay single for the rest of your life? I'm going to be 54 and I'll spend the next couple decades alone and enjoying it. Let me know in the comments. What's your story?
I keep hearing the conversations about women who don't want to ever get married again. Women who don't want to be in a relationship or they don't want to live with a man ever again in life. And I get it. When you have been in a situation where you are overperforming and someone is underperforming, it is draining. The imbalance really starts to erode at the relationship. When you are the person who's trying to make sure the household runs smoothly and you're working all day and then you're coming home and you're having to cook and you're having to clean and you're having to make sure that the kids are good and you're having to put them in the bath and you're having to do all the things. And then at the end of the night, you take a shower, you're winding down, you just fall into the bed exhausted, and now somebody's trying to hump on your leg. Let me tell you something. Romance, it starts here between the ears. It starts with you assisting. It starts with you being there for her, showing up for her. She shouldn't have to carry the entire load, not the mental load, the emotional load, the physical load. That is draining. She doesn't have the capacity for her spouse. She is exhausted. And if someone is constantly underperforming and you're overperforming, that imbalance gets old real quick. And then when you just get fed up, no one wants to be a single parent. No one wants to be divorced. But sometimes you just feel like, what am I doing here? Like, this is not enough for me. I deserve so much more than I'm getting. And after a while, you just decide you need more. And now you're single and your house is clean every day. And every time you walk into the house, it's just spotless and there's no one there taking up your air, needing something and not doing much. There's no more breadcrumbs. It's just you. And it's been you all along, but now it's you without that dead weight. And then you're like, I don't know if I would trade this. I don't know if I want to bring somebody back into my home that's immature, that underperforms, that isn't a true teammate. And then you recognize how peaceful your life has become. I get it. I don't know if I want somebody else in my house either.
Now, data from multiple countries show a clear trend where women are choosing to remain single after divorce and are less likely to remarry compared to previous generations. Now let us look at a clear breakdown of what's happening and why. Because in countries like Canada, the US, and the UK, the remarriage rates have steadily declined over the past few decades. Women are significantly less likely to remarry than men after divorce. The gap widens with age, where divorced men in their 40s and 50s remarry at much higher rates than women the same age. Now, for many women, divorce is not the end. It's a beginning, a reset, and after years, sometimes decades of compromise, responsibility, and emotional labor, divorce can bring something unexpected. It can bring peace, freedom, and control. Now, many women report feeling less stressed, more fulfilled, and more aligned with themselves after leaving a marriage. Now, can you imagine this, guys? And for the first time in their lives, they're asking a powerful question. Do I even want to do this again?
And he still was ungrateful. To this day, I hate cooking. I don't want to cook. I will DoorDash every day if I could. And if I want to, I will. Another reason, they stink. They really stink. They really do. Their dirty gym clothes stink. They smell sweaty. They just smell like a big old fart. Another reason, when they're angry, they're like a dark cloud that just lingers. Okay, a lot of men nowadays, they don't know how to regulate their emotions and they're looking to you to regulate their emotions. But instead of like really trying to work through those things with you, they want you to dig and dig and dig and dig while they ignore you in the process. And I'm just not doing it. I'm not doing it. I don't really care for it. I don't want to do it. I don't need to do it. And I'm not doing it anymore. And another thing, they want to be all up in your stuff. Okay? Everybody knows ain't nothing like a woman's home. Ain't nothing like a woman's touch. Okay? You see that Christmas tree back there? A man could not do that. And they won't do it either. But when they see that you do it, now all of a sudden they want to be all up in it. They want to use all your things. They want to be all up in your stuff. I'm very selfish and I do not want to share any of my stuff with a man at all. I know I mentioned this earlier, but don't touch my throw pillows. Don't touch my bathroom perfumes. Just don't touch anything. Okay? And that's why I'm not sharing nothing with no man. And I'm not living with no man. And ladies, I would say to you, don't live with a man either. until you get married. And even then, have another room.
The last time I lived with a man, I knew it probably was the last time I was going to live with a man, because I was paying for more than half of the bills. I was cooking meals. I was getting up before he got up for work to make lunches, breakfast, and putting snacks inside the lunch pail. Also cooking dinners, paying for all the food in the house, washing his clothes so he could go to work. I was making more money than him, working less time than him, and he still expected me to do all this work. Whenever he wanted it, he wanted it. And the thing was, he wasn't nice. He was actually mean. He was popping beans. And when I asked him, did he pop one? He asked me, was I his mama? I need to know what you're doing so I can know how to treat you, so I can know how you're going to treat me. It was just all, it was like a 24/7 job. Boy, why did that man pee in my bed? Look, when he did that, I had to get up, get him to the shower, get his clothes that are wet, put them in the washing machine with everything, because soon as it happened, I was on it. It was like I knew it was happening. So flip the mattress. So I'm doing all this, change the sheets, baby. If I never live with another man, it'll be too soon. I'm telling you. Now, decades ago, marriage wasn't just about love. It was survival, because women often depended on their husbands financially. But today, that's no longer the case, because, as I stated before, more women are educated, more women are building careers, and more women are financially independent. And when you remove the financial necessity from a marriage, you're left with choice. And many women are choosing differently. They're no longer asking, who will take care of me? They're asking, does this relationship add value to my life? Now let us look at some of the main reasons why more women are choosing to stay single, right? Number one, financial independence. More women today have stable careers and income. Unlike in past generations, marriage is no longer necessary for financial security. There was a time, as I stated, where marriage, meant survival, but today it means choice, where women are earning more, they're owning their own property, and they're building independent wealth. Because when that survival, that dependency on a male is no longer at stake, their standards rise. If we take a look at a divorced lawyer, Sophia, age 38, she said, I got married young. Back then, I thought that's what success looked like. But after law school, everything changed. I changed. I realized I didn't need marriage to build a life. I already had one. Now, Sophia's story is becoming more common. Education gave her options, and options made her change decisions. Let us look at Marissa. Marissa said, after my divorce, I started my own business. I grew faster than expected. I remember thinking, why would I go back to a situation where I felt limited? I'm not against love, but it has to match the life I've built. Right? So because more women are getting, are completing their education, there is no longer a financial dependence on their male partners. So they don't need them anymore. 2, emotional and mental well-being. Many women report less stress and greater peace living independently after divorce. Some studies suggest divorced women often experience improved life satisfaction compared to their previous marriages. When you look at Danielle said, I worked full time, but I was also doing everything at home. When we divorced, it was the first time I felt relief. People expected me to date again, but honestly, I felt free. 3. Unequal relationship burdens. Now, research consistently shows women tend to carry more of the emotional labor, the household responsibilities, and childcare responsibilities. And after divorce, many are reluctant to re enter dynamics where those imbalances may return. Now, for some women, the decision isn't about preference, it's also about protection. In Canada, nearly half of women also report experiencing intimate partner violence, and the majority of victims are women. Rates have increased in years, and globally the numbers are just alarming. When you look at an anonymous DV survivor, she stated that I didn't leave because I stopped loving him. I left because I realized love shouldn't feel like fear. And I promised myself I would never put myself in that position again. So for many women, divorce isn't just an ending, it's an escape. And once safety is reclaimed, the idea of remarriage becomes far more complex. So here again, you have the unequal relationship burdens. If a woman doesn't feel like doing something, then their partner may get upset, and it may cause the disruptance or disturbance in the home. And women no longer want to put up with all of that.
So the reason I don't want to live with a man is because I like my life. That's it, and period. There's a such thing as intimate partner violence, and there's a such thing as domestic violence, right? And we're just going to go through this really, really quickly. Domestic violence comes in these forms: emotional abuse, psychological abuse, economic abuse, sexual abuse, and physical abuse. Okay, those are the 5 that are given. And do you know, as a woman, you put yourself in harm's way when you live with men, because men like to assert power. And these 5 things are all forms of abuse, but it's called domestic violence. That means they must live in your abode. It's domestic, in your home. I don't want a man in my home because I don't want to endure any type of violence. Like, I want peace in my house. And if you think I'm joking, check this out. Domestic violence can be emotional abuse, calling your partner names, controlling your partner's everyday life, blaming your partner, preventing your partner from talking to people, humiliating your partner in public, manipulating your partner, acting jealous and isolating their partner from friends and family. Psychological abuse, brainwashing their partner or trying to make them confused about reality, making their partner feel that they are crazy, secretly monitoring their partner, forcing their partner to stay awake for long hours, leading to chronic exhaustion. Who wants? That's just emotional and psychological. Let's talk about economic abuse: controlling the family money, forcing the partner to give paychecks to their abuser, not allowing their partner to work, go to school, or attend other activities that will provide income. Let's talk about sexual abuse. Let's talk about causing their partner to be hurt during sex, forcing their partner to perform sexual acts, having affairs outside of the intimate relationship, forcing their partner to have sex for money. What? Physical abuse: pinching, poking, slapping, biting, pushing, punching, strangling, burning, or cutting. It's called domestic violence for a reason. Domestic because they live in your abode. Nah, I don't want to live with no man, because guess what? I like my life.
Then we have the dating pool challenges, right? You have the dating world where, especially for women over 40, many describe it as challenging, incompatible. There are limited options, there are mismatched expectations, and there is emotional unavailability. Some women feel the effort required to find a compatible partner simply isn't worth it. There are differences in emotional availability, maturity, or lifestyle expectations can be barriers, and others say they'd rather stay single than settle. And my mantra ever since I was young. There's this song that I always sing. It's from Karen White that says, "I'd rather be alone than unhappy." And now, for the first time in history, the choice of women, just not wanting to be burdened with a man is widely accepted. There's also redefining fulfillment. There's a growing cultural shift where being single is no longer seen as failure. Fulfillment comes from friendships, career, hobbies, and personal growth, and not just marriage. And I think about, there is someone that I know who, a lot of persons back then, they had this blueprint for how life should be. And, if you didn't get married and have kids within a certain age bracket, then you're seen as a failure. So I think because of that, this person rushed into marriage because they stated that, they did their undergrad, they did their masters, they found a guy, and because, time was catching up, they decided to, in my opinion, to settle. Because for them, they needed to get married by 28 and have a baby, which they did get married at 28 and then got pregnant right after. But then the marriage basically broke down as soon as they got married. Sorry, as soon as they got pregnant, because the husband, he didn't expect anything to change. And of course, when a woman gets pregnant, nobody knows what their body is going to, how the body is going to react, right? So there was little changes with the female. And then, although I can't really blame all of that, honestly, men are just, they're gonna do what they're gonna do. But since she got pregnant, everything in the marriage changed. And you would have thought that, he would be happy because, they have first baby on the way. But no, all of that went away. And they broke up before the baby was even 2 years old. So there's that cultural shift where, women are no longer saying, "Oh, I need to get married and have a baby by this age," and that they are doing what they want. But now that person, got divorced, highly, highly educated, very successful, raised the child by herself. And now she has a high profile job, and she hasn't been in any substantial relationship since then because she just doesn't want to.
Would you ever date again? If you're a woman, maybe over 40, and you've been divorced, do you date still or want to be in a relationship with a man? I have zero desire to be in a relationship. I'm 51. I've been divorced for 15 years, and that probably has something to do with it because I've been single for a long time. So I'm kind of set in my ways. The compromising thing, I don't know that I could do it. All of it. I don't think I could do it again. So just interested to know who out there thinks different than me, or maybe you're the same. But I have 3 grown kids that are out of the house. I'm an empty nester now and gonna sell my house and buy an RV and travel, and I'm really looking forward to it. And I like being alone.
Hey, I'm Colleen. I'm 58. I'm a widow of 7 years. I will never marry again, ever. And I'm not even interested in dating at all. And let me say this, the likelihood of me ever cohabitating with a man, why? This is my turn. This is my third act. I'm flying solo. And the peace that I feel and the freedom that I feel just to live my life is so profound, I can't even really begin to describe it. I say things like, I get to do what I want, where I want, how I want, if I want, etc. But I also get to build a home completely that is reflective of me. I walk into my space and I'm, this is me. It all feels me. It's safe. It's my energy. There's no angry man. There's no walking on eggshells. There's no getting punished for liking certain things. What relationships are complicated. I will never marry again. I will never be legally attached to somebody again. I said what I said. I'm way happier on my own. I have friends like, oh, what are you going to do if you don't marry again? Fucking live my life.
We also look at age, where age plays a big role. So younger divorced women are more open to remarriage, where women over 40 and 50 are far more likely to stay single permanently after divorce. We also have to look at an intimacy shift, right? Because when a woman is tired of putting up with the stress and the struggles and all these items that I listed, why women no longer want to remarry, there comes the intimacy. Now this is another shift that is happening, quiet but powerful. The way people experience intimacy is changing, and the global market for adult products has surged. And this is driven by privacy, autonomy, and control. Because for some women, this represents something new. It represents connection without compromise. And what I'm talking about is the introduction of adult toys. So a lot of women, instead of going through the hassle wondering if you're going to get an infection or a disease from your partner, or just the whole headache of your partner being unfaithful to you, they're just going for the artificial toys. Now Lena says that, I used to think I needed a partner to feel fulfilled, but now I've realized I can meet my own needs emotionally and physically. So if someone comes into my life, it's because I want them there, not because I need them. So again, women are taking matters into their own hands. They're not waiting for a man. They're not, sitting down and taking mistreatment or ill treatment or any negative behaviors from a man. Then we also look at the modern dating disconnect, right? Where dating has changed as well. And for many women, it's not for the better. Now, common experiences include emotional unavailability, mismatched values, and burnout from the dating culture. Tiffany stated that she tried dating apps after her divorce and it felt like a full-time job. She realized that she was happier alone than dealing with inconsistency and, again, disappointment.
There's a trend going around of women saying all the reasons why they would never live with a man again, and here are mine. For reference, this big old 4-bedroom house is just occupied by me and my son. There is no man here, and I am living my best life. Number one, they eat all the food within one day. I am not gonna be cooking every freaking day. I like to cook like every few days. I kind of meal prep, and then I'll eat the same meal for the next 3 days, and it's less cooking, less cleaning. But when you live with a man, he will literally eat everything in one day. Number two, I don't want a man telling me how I want to decorate my space. I want everything in my house pink. I have a pink rug, pink Christmas tree, pink bows on my fucking cabinet. I'm not compromising on how I want to decorate my home, okay? Number three, I don't want to share a bathroom with them. They're leaving the toothpaste on the sink. They're leaving pee on the fucking toilet. There's fucking hairs all over the shower. I'm not doing it. I don't want to have to tell someone where I'm going every time I leave the house. I just want to watch 4 episodes in a row of my favorite series on Netflix and not have to explain that to someone. When you live with a man, it's kind of expected that his friends, his family, his mama is going to come over sometimes. No. No. I don't want to share closet space with a man. Yeah, this whole closet is for all my clothes. I just don't want to. I did it for like 6-7 years and I will never do it again.
Now, when we look at women versus men, the key differences between both genders, right? Men often benefit more from the marriage in terms of health, emotional support, household stability. Women, on the other hand, often gain more independence and less stress when single, which influences their decision not to remarry. Because, of course, they're going to say, well, I don't want another, dealing with a man sometimes is almost as if you're dealing with another child. Now, the bottom line is that even in modern partnerships, these imbalances often persist, and over time, they add up. Because after divorce, many women reflect on these experiences and think, I don't want to go back to that. Not unless something fundamental changes. Yes, more women are intentionally choosing single life after divorce, not because they can't remarry, but because this might be the biggest shift of all. The definition of happiness is changing. And for a long time, society told women that marriage equals success, that partnership equals fulfillment. But today, many women are rewriting that narrative. They don't feel the need to. They value their peace, independence, and control over their own lives. And they're redefining what happiness looks like. Because happiness can mean strong friendships, personal growth, career success, freedom, and independence. And romantic relationships are no longer the center of everything. They're optional, not essential. And interestingly, the same trend isn't happening with men. Now, why? Because studies suggest men often benefit more from marriage in areas, as I stated, in physical health, and they also benefit from daily structure. May seek the marriage, women are more likely to pause and reconsider. And what does this all mean? Are relationships disappearing? Not at all. But they are evolving. And women aren't rejecting love. They're rejecting compromise that costs them their peace. They're choosing clarity over pressure, freedom over expectation, and fulfillment on their own terms. And maybe, just maybe, this shift isn't about women walking away from marriage. It's about raising the standard for what love should be.
I'm going to get yelled at in the comments for saying this, but a lot of women today are single because they haven't met a man who's better at being a man than they already are. Look, she's independent, she's got a good job, handles her shit and solves her problems. So when a man comes into her life and doesn't add anything meaningful to it, he's just another responsibility to her. And that's why the women of today are no longer chasing relationships. They're choosing peace.
I'm gonna read a couple comments that I saw under a video on women's behavior, or what women's reasoning on why they won't get into another relationship. One person commented that I was a married widow for 18 years. Marrying the wrong man is hell on earth. Another commenter stated, no one has died of being single, but many die a silent death every day being with the wrong partner. Another person says, the peace I have being single is unmatched. Most men are overgrown children. Being divorced 25 years, peace is addictive. Women who choose to live alone are the most powerful. And guys, one person stated that I never forget how Steve Harvey said all men are actors, and that was enough for me. Another person stated, got my freedom papers 3 years ago, divorced happy and not looking for a new owner. No shame whatsoever. So here we can see the general consensus that a lot of women, they just don't want to remarry based on how, they were treated in their relationship with their previous partners. One person says that, marriage is most beneficial to men, and seeing what it takes getting out of a bad marriage, she wouldn't risk, getting into another. Now, mark you, not every woman is giving up on marriage, right? Some women are in beautiful, committed, and loving marriages. One person wrote, "This actually breaks my heart. Marriage is beautiful when it's with the right person that God designed for you." Now, she says that she's divorced, but she looks forward to a second chance. However, she does not understand why women feel the way that they do. To each his own. I've never wanted to be a strong, independent black woman unless I have to be, but that's just me. And that's just her. Another commenter wrote, "I adored my husband of 17 years. I'm 69 and will never date or marry again. But only because when you have had an amazing marriage, why look for another? They will never be able to compare to what I had with my husband. My focus is on writing and working and with my dog." So, not everyone or not every woman is bashing getting married, or that they won't get married again, and they want to divorce their husbands, or some of them wishing ill. But before you go into marriages, just let it be for the right reason, and there should be a lot of compromise, because you're two different persons and both of you are going to see the world differently, right? So you can't expect both of you, what we call, for lack of a better word, group think. You both have your individual thoughts, right? So, let us pray for those who are in loving marriages, for those who are, experiencing turbulence during their marriages. Let's hope that they can, have some therapy and work it out. But also, if it's not working out, that they can separate peacefully and amicably. And if there are children involved, let the children not be the ones to suffer from the breakup of the marriage. Right? Now, let me know what you guys think about this topic. And are you giving up on marriage just like some of these women? Or do you find that marriage is a good thing, the partnership is a good thing, and you just need to work on it? Thank you for watching. I hope you found this topic interesting. Let me know. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more videos like these.